YouTube, stop playing with these people. They need this information and they're coming on this page trying to make financial freedom in their lives. Pass the video and give them the information. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Builders, where every episode moves you one decision closer to financial freedom. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the page. Top comment below, get you access to Freedom Builders Academy. Been crazy flood of people going into the course. It's been absolutely amazing. I love hearing all the information that we're getting, all the feedback. It's been fantastic. However, it is critically important that you take a moment and hit the like button, because what's happening is that if we don't hit the like button on this page, although you got the information that's beneficial to you, this page is trying to reach out to countless people, helping people like you along the way on the journey to financial freedom. And so your like button will go a long way. And so for this video, we are looking for at least 100 likes. So contribute, put your hand in the pot on this one, and we will see how far we get into this video. But that's not what this is about. And I know we're having a little fun in this video, but we got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to turn the hat around because it's about to get really serious, okay? We are at an interesting point right now in the S&P 500. There was a lot of things that occurred last week. There are things that are going to occur this week, which will give us a barometer as to what we're about to see going into the next couple of weeks. So first thing that's the most important that happened last week is that we had, of course, the GDP and then the PCE data. We talked about this in the previous video. You'll see that up here. We talked about how the indicator of this information will tell us where we are within the United States economy. Bad news is that both data points came out very weak. The GDP came out lower, so much so that the president, Donald Trump, took it to Twitter and decided that it was important to let everybody know that the reason that the GDP was not strong in Q4 was because of the Democrats and the government shutdown that we experienced. Although there may be some truth to that, we know this is a political game at the end of the day, and so we don't get lost in any of that. We don't care about the politics on this page. All we care about is how it affects our money, because in this page, we're trying to make some money. So the GDP came off relatively weak. Market started to sink, wasn't looking good. But then something else interesting happened on Friday, and it was that the Supreme Court determined that the tariffs that our country, led by our president, put on these other countries around the world was completely unfair and unconstitutional, and that we would have to undo all of those tariffs. Now, the initial thought was this is bad news for the U.S. economy, going to be bad news for the stock market, because that's a lot of money that's about to be paid back to importers. But the market didn't react that way. The market actually responded positively, because the belief is that this money is going to go back into companies that you and I are invested into, which will put more revenue back in these companies. And so the issue is that now we are seeing that the SPY, which was cracking in the charts, has finally found its way back into the channel that it was currently in. I'm going to show it to you that in a little bit. But that's not the only thing. Going into this week, we have a few things happening. Number one is we got the NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. This is going to be the indicator of all as to if the AI story is still intact. Are we seeing cracks? Are we not seeing that there's momentum coming? I don't think that's going to be the case. Every earnings call we've heard, people are continuing to invest into AI in full, massive amount of money. And so I think we will see that NVIDIA is going to blow off the earnings. So the question becomes, what is now the indicator that will send the market back down? And so what I'm going to do real quick is to share my screen, and we're going to talk really quick about what's going on in the chart and what we need to be looking out for. So the first thing I see here is this is the SPY, okay? This represents the S&P 500. So as you can see here, we have been on what's been called an ascending wedge. It's continuing to go up a channel. So what has occurred is that we were recently testing the bottom of the channel here, and it actually broke through the channel, which was an indicator that we may have been heading back to another level down. Now, to identify what the level was, we would see that the S&P 500 on the SPY specifically, ticker symbol SPY, could have revisited at least $650. But what occurred here? If I zoom in here, you see it broke through the channel and then it found recovery and it jumped back into this channel that it's been in. And now we're seeing the move up. So in the short term, what we see going into next week is at least to start the week, we believe that the S&P 500 will start continuing upward. Now, how high we can go? At the minimum, we can revisit this bar here, which would put us at about 695, 696 before we would then see what next with the stock market. Will Nvidia be the blow off the top moment to take us from this part of the channel all the way to the other side of the channel? Maybe. Is it going to be the point that shows us now here the fake out that sends us back to this channel at the bottom to revisit to see if it will still hold? We will have to wait and see. But a few things are for certain. Going into next week, although this is not financial advice, this video is just for education and entertainment purposes only. We do believe that we're to at least start the week, we are going to be bullish to start the week in the S&P 500. With that, I do want to share with you all one particular hot stock that is currently on our radar, and that is ticker symbol HIMS. That is the famous company Hims and Hers. We know that this company has been obliterated over the last month to month and a half over various things. Of course, some of their competitors, Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, and some of these other ones have come out with GLP-1s that are oral. Some are on the precipice of about to get that launch, and they try to create a generic drug, got slapped in the hand. We know that they don't have any ties with some of these relationships with these companies anymore. So a lot of negative press has been pushing. However, it is massively oversold on the daily time frame on the RSI, which is the relative strength index. Remember, as a rule of thumb, below 30, anything below 30 indicates that it is at least an oversold stock, and it has been oversold for a few weeks. So it is due some sort of rebound. And on Monday, February 23rd, after the market closes, HIMS gets to report their earnings. What do we want to see a reversal? Number one is we want to see that there is true, sustainable, growing demand for their products is number one. The second thing is we want to see what is going to be their differentiator in this very unique niche market healthcare space as to what are they going to do to show that they are the company leading expert on whatever it is that they want to do. So the one key word, if you're following along on Monday after the market closes with the HIMS call earnings, the one word we want to hear them talk about is peptides. Peptides is a growing industry, and this is one of the strong points right now with HIMS. What we want to hear is that they're going to lean in significantly harder growing the peptide industry. And if we do, we can see this stock starting to soar over the next 4 to 5 weeks. So keep that one on your radar. And again, as you go in, how much do I buy? How do I invest? How do you know things like the RSI and such other things? You can learn all of these great strategies and these financial terms that are very critical to your wealth building journey through Freedom Builders Academy. Again, you'll find that in the top comment below. And find on your way out a way to like this video, share it with somebody, and send a comment below. Until then, we'll see you on the next one.